Hey guys, so ChatGPT Web Browsing went live again yesterday, and I want to talk about 9 use cases that are really interesting. I think 3 of them don't work right now, but these are, generic use cases and definitely should work with GPT-4. So maybe they'll start working in the future. Right now, let me just quickly jump to the 9 use cases that I find really interesting. So first one, it can actually browse to websites and, give you feedback. So if you have a website, you're looking to get some feedback with respect to the content that you have on the website or the way your website is structured, it can definitely give you some feedback. So I just tried Snapy's website. Let me just put the prompt here. Can you review Snapy.ai website and share some bits that I can improve? Before I go there, in order to enable this, you need GPT-4 and you need to enable browse with Bing option, right? So once you have that handy, just go ahead and start playing around. It can literally browse the internet. One thing I've noticed is sometimes it will use the pre-existing knowledge that it already has to give you answers. So you'll have to specify clearly in the bracket saying browse internet, right? And this will happen specifically for cases where the information existed even in 2021. So it will prioritize information that it already has before it starts browsing the internet. So if you want it to specifically browse the internet, ensure that you mention that bit about browse internet. Anyways, I think Snapy is recent, so it won't have that information. Let me just put this prompt here and show you Snapy for 1 second. You can see this is the website and it's going to be reviewing this whole website and give me suggestions with respect to how I can improve this. I'll ask some follow-up questions here so that you have understanding on what else you can do. So you can see there are several areas of improvement, no surprise. The user interface could benefit from clear delineation between sections for enhanced navigation. The community generation lacks contextual information regarding its purpose. The section building in public could explain the metrics being shared. The FAQ section is informative could be visually separated to enhance readability. You can see all of these bits are static elements, right? So now it knows that there is some text here and text is, kind of compressed in like this whole section. So it knows that there is too much text in one section. It makes sense to kind of separate it out. Then there is, I think, a build in public section in the bottom. Yeah, here you go. There is the feedback section. And community generation obviously has no context because it has videos, which it does not go through right now. So yeah, I mean, these are pretty good actionable feedback. And obviously not all of them are meaningful because it still doesn't know which feedback means what. But I think it's a good starting point for people who are looking to merely just do first cut review of their content and, make some changes. I think suggest some changes or improvements that can be implemented right away. And it can use the pre-existing knowledge that it has with the new knowledge that it has gained about your website and give you some actionable feedback on what you can do. So I think this is one of the coolest use cases for the new web browsing ChatGPT. The other thing I also noticed that it's relatively faster than the previous version when it would take a lot of time to browse through these sections. All right, let's move on to the next use case. Okay, this should work, but apparently it does not work, right? So I would, given the fact that ChatGPT can now do real-time browsing, one of the most important use cases would be to kind of browse the news and maybe write articles, blogs, or tweets about the latest news per se. But apparently that does not work, right? So let's say summarize today's news. It'll obviously go ahead and browse and try to find some article. But what it throws out is the fact that it can't access them. Let's just see. Oh, it's working. So initially when I tried doing this, it wasn't working. And I was surprised because this is one of the coolest use cases you can have with ChatGPT. So let's say, you found today's news and it's procedural US Senate and House amid a looming government shutdown and a bunch of different news articles. Now you can use these to create, say, tweets on these articles, right? Which is our third use case where we'll tell it to, maybe... Right. Generate a conversational feed on all of these items. So basically you can automate by taking this news and generating like a whole thread of news and auto post on certain channels, right? So you can see this is the first one, second one, third one, and so on and so forth. So this is one of the good use cases for marketing agencies or, channels that post a lot of news. Basically, you can just get news summarized with GPT and automate all of that, automate posting all of that online. So really cool use case. Even the fourth use case I like a lot, especially if you are from a more consulting or a research background. You typically want to read a lot of market reports, generate some summaries of those market reports. Now you can basically do that using GPT, right? So let's say Generative AI Market Report of 2023. It can literally browse the websites and figure out a report to refer to, then summarize that report for you. Now it's gone to McKinsey.com for this report. Let's see what it throws out. You can see it's a pretty interesting report. Obviously, it's not very very detailed, but it went ahead and kind of, generated a very, very high level summary of this. I don't know if it can still write blog. My last attempt failed. So let me just give it another shot. So we tell it to write a 900 word blog on this topic. Yeah. So however, I can provide guidance, key points. So it's saying I can assist in drafting on the insights, but however, so I don't get it, right? Is there a specific angle or an aspect? Alright, so we tell it to write a generic blog with the keyword Generative AI Market Report 2023. Let's see. Yeah, it's working and it's pretty cool because now obviously it isn't deep diving on each of these aspects, but it's, giving you a high level summary of what the blog could have. Now I can understand why it isn't writing blog because, the minute it starts doing that, the whole internet will start writing blog using web browser. But let's see if we can, give another prompt and see if it can write the blog for us. So 900 word blog. Let's see if it can attempt it. Yeah, I tried this before and it just won't write a blog post. And I can understand why that would be the case. Maybe there are ways ways in which you can actually engineer a prompt where it thinks it's not writing a blog, but maybe it's writing a blog. So for example, you can say write a summary for this paragraph or this title, maybe 100 word summary, right? And you can tell it to do it for all of these, and that's kind of a block for you. But yeah, anyways, so this is, I think, the 5th use case. Yeah, I think that was the 5th use case. Let's look at the 6th one. This is yet another favorite one. So if you're again a researcher, someone who reads about the market a lot, or maybe you're in consulting, then you can use this, maybe just dig up top 10 trends of 2023. So if you're from marketing background and you're looking to kind of do a quick analysis, or maybe you're a student doing homework or an assignment, I think this can do the first cut, or maybe it can help you with the research. So it's almost like your extended hand when it comes to doing research. So it went ahead and I think it referred some sort of report, and it brought out 4 major trends of 2023. While I clearly told it to bring me the top 10 most important trends. It's fine, because I understand that it went through a web page, it found a web page with that, gave it the exact content it wanted, and then it kind of threw out the content out. Yeah, so if you read through this, you'll find 4 more. It went only through half of the article and then kind of summarized that article, which is fine because I think at some point the context window will increase, and then once that happens, maybe we'll get through the list of the whole article. All right, the next one is interesting, where you want to do a feature study of Claude 2 versus GPT-4. Let's see what it throws out. I don't know if it will do this, or maybe it will, maybe it will find comparison or an article that can summarize this for it. So let's just throw the question out and see what we get. All right, firstly, it's not browsing the internet. This is similar to what I had mentioned before, but it does have some information, right? So it's clearly claiming Claude 2 is not widely recognized model in public domain as of the last training cutoff. It's just using the information it has. Let's see, can you browse the internet and get me the latest info? Let's see what it does. So it's on Anthropic right now, browsing through the website, which is expected. All right, so it's obviously gone through and gave out the information about Claude 2. Can you compare it with GPT-4? Let's see if it can give us that information. Yeah, it does not have information about GPT-4. Can you browse the internet? Let's see. It can get frustrating, especially when you have to prompt it again and again. So finally, it's looking for the exact same thing we wanted to, and it found this website where it's browsing the, so if you expect it to know all of this, that's not the case. It's basically just opening website, summarizing that information and throwing it out. So yeah, I think that's this one as our 6th use case. It's pretty interesting. Like if you are a product manager, you want to do some research, I think this can be really helpful. All right, so the next one is on the lines of writing code. If you have, written code before, Next.js 13 is a more recent release, and GPT does not have access. ChatGPT did not previously have access to this. So let's see if it can, help us with the new version of Next.js 13 route. If you work with Next.js 13, you know what I'm talking about. Interesting, it's going through the GitHub website. Okay, so it can also go back. So it went to the website, it went back, and now I think it's looking at... I think the last time I searched this question, it went to the same website. It went to GitHub again. So pretty interesting, it can crawl through the different... It's it's just giving me general information that it's different, but it's confused if it should proceed with what it already knows versus should it do more research, right? Let's push it to do research anyways and see what it throws out. I wonder with, browsing all the links, does it give you any credit? I'm sure it won't give you any credit on Google because, these guys are competing. Yeah, so it's not helping with this. Last time around when I tried this, it actually gave out some output, but this time it's very lazy. All right, so let's try YouTube. This is one of my recent videos. Let's see if we can do YouTube Q&A. So I'm asking what is this video about? Let's see if it can give us some insight. Yeah, it's not working on videos. The last time around I tried, it had the same feedback. But I'm really looking forward to an AI app that can, answer my video. So anywho, the last time one of the most, practical use cases that at least I can think of with respect to the real-time browsing is actually finding relevant keywords and blog topics to write. So let's say top keywords for Snapy.ai. Please refer the website before sharing because it's not going to browse otherwise. Let's say, so this is an overkill. I'm, telling it to look for the relevant keywords for Snapy.ai and then also look at competitors that are ranking for it and give me ideas that are easy and faster to rank. Alright, so it's on Snapy now. So it identified the keywords for sure. Yeah, but it won't go ahead and give me some idea. Alright, so let's just go ahead and try and push it to see what kind of competitors are ranking for this idea. Okay, a bunch of these are ranking now. Alright, so what topics do you suggest I write blogs on to rank for this keyword? So again, these are all the keywords that it might have found across these competitors. So it may make sense to kind of, deep dive on this thread and see what you can dig for your own website or maybe write blogs on specific keywords. But yeah, I think these are the 9 use cases that at least I can think of at this point. There are obviously more, and if you can think of any use cases, feel free to drop those in the comments. But as of right now, this is really, really cool, like super cool. It almost destroyed all the excitement around Bard. And I'd recommend you give it a shot, at least for roasting your own website. But yeah, that's all guys. Thank you so much and have a great rest of the day. See you.